Alright, my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today is a very exciting day for AMD. They just launched the 7900 GRE here in the United States. You can pick one of these up for $549, and this thing here is basically, I don't know, man. This is pretty funny because they're essentially pricing this thing to go up against the 4070. And the power of this thing absolutely destroys the 4070 and pretty much gets it like almost like right in line with what the 4070 is. And this is insane. This is insane. So we were hearing rumors about the 7900 GRE being launched here in the United States. Usually when it comes to rumors with the PC stuff, I mean, obviously it comes true. I personally don't like to live my life on rumors, but this is pretty cool, man. Like, it's almost like Nvidia comes out, they launch the super cards. Everybody's like, it sucks all the air out of the room, and everybody's like, oh my god, Nvidia, and then everybody just starts to bash Nvidia and AMD. Oh my gosh, dude, it is so dumb. It is. I've watched a few of those reviews today, and to tell you the truth, like, what kind of information do you actually get from some of these reviews? You watch them, they talk about them for a minute and complain about the price and to tell you how much better Nvidia's ray tracing is, and then they show you a bunch of bars and graphs. Like, how are you really supposed to decipher anything when it comes to that? Period. It really, like, when I watch these benchmark videos, basically all that freaking tells me. Sorry, I gotta move my drink up here. Basically, all that tells me is that, yeah, dude, Nvidia's got a little bit better ray tracing, because I think every single one of them told you that. Well, they all showed you Cyberpunk 2077, you know, in hopes to make Nvidia relevant when it comes to like the power of these AMD 7000 series GPUs, dude. Because that's pretty much what it seems like to me. Because let's be real. Let's be real, honestly. Okay, I don't mean to yell at you, but I mean, let's be real, man. Unless you're buying like a 4080, a 4090 ray tracing, yeah, I mean, like, sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can't tell. I mean, you wonder why they don't talk about any other games with ray tracing, because it absolutely doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't make a big enough difference to justify the freaking being kicked in the butt for your performance. Period. It doesn't. That's why I get so irritated every time I hear these guys talk about, like, yeah, man, it's good. You know, you watch them and they're like, yeah, dude, it's like destroying the 4070 and the 4070 Super in rasterization. And then they're like, well, but don't forget about Cyberpunk. Don't forget about Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is still blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, nobody cares about Cyberpunk anymore. That game is old. Everybody that's bought it is bought it. You know what I mean? Like, that game is old. Where's all the new ones? Where's all the new ray tracing bangers that are coming out that are just being like, yeah, you just have to have that? I mean, really. So I mean, seriously, tell me, you know, you play through Alan Wake 2 and you're like, okay, yeah, it looks good, but it absolutely destroys everything under a 4080. Oh, man. Well, I might have been able to. Nope, you can't do that. So I am so sick and tired of hearing about ray tracing when it doesn't even matter. And then every single one of them gloss over the fact that AMD has way better software. Way better software. AMD has way better rasterization in their class for their GPUs for the price that they sell those GPUs. AMD has way more VRAM 90% of the time, and it's just like, it's almost like AMD is better, but they cling to fake resolution. Listen, this is what they cling to: fake resolution, fake frames, and like, I'm gonna say ray tracing is unfinished, half-baked even on most of the games, dude. It absolutely destroys your performance. But these guys are going to come out and review these cards and always instill that doubt in your head that, yeah, man, maybe the 4070 is a little bit better, blah, 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 because it's got ray tracing. And it's like, no, dude, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about ray tracing. It's an absolute waste of time. Unless you're going to buy a 4080 Super or a 4090, You probably shouldn't even be worrying about ray tracing. That is literally the last thing that you should worry about is ray tracing on anything under those two cards. And even the 4080 is probably iffy at best. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like it's so annoying to listen to that stuff, because you're like, because I mean, like me, genuinely interested, like I wonder how the 7900 GRE, runs compared to my 7800 XT or my 7900, because dude, I'm the kind of person that would go out and buy one and show it on the channel, but I don't think I'm going to. I think we'll stick with the 7800 XT. I think we'll stick with the 7900 XT and the 7600 XT. I think those are good enough. I think that I will leave the GREs out there for somebody that actually needs them or can get a deal. It does kind of change my recommendation. I do still think that the 7800 XT is an absolute banger for a card, but if you can get this 7900 GRE for $50 more, absolutely pick that up. That would probably be your best your best your best option. Yeah, it's going to cost you about $50 more, but whatever. You're getting a little bit more power. I think it was like 10% more power. And there might be a little bit more workaround in there. You might be able to push your power draw up a little bit. You might be able to do a little bit more overclocking, underclocking, stuff like that. So I think that the 7900 GRE is probably going to fit more in that kind of bracket. You do have the 80, the 80 CUs or whatever, the 80 processors, and then what is it, like 80 CUs, 80 ray trace processors, stuff like that. So yeah, for the most part, like you're going to see a lot of numbers that are probably going to be pretty close to the 7800 XT just because they got pretty close power draw. The 7800 XT's got a little bit faster memory or whatever, but either way, I don't think you can really go wrong. Like, these cards are pretty freaking potent. I mean, if you're trying to play games at 4K with these cards and like max everything out, yeah, you're probably going to run into some walls. But generally speaking, 1440p is more than doable on either of those two cards. It's going to get you where you need to go. And when ray tracing is available, this is the way I'm kind of basing it. When AMD tells me that ray tracing is available on a $500 card, then I'll be like, okay, I believe you now, because then it pretty much will be. But right now, man, it feels buggy at best. Your games are always stuttery. They don't run right. That is such a fallacy or such a stupid thing to be basing buying a GPU on ray tracing. I mean, if it was finished tech and it was like viable and usable on the lower end cards and stuff, by all means, dude, I like it. I don't have a problem with ray tracing. I can't wait until it's actually more mainstream and then we can actually use it and be able to still achieve good performance. But right now, man, AMD is literally the best option for you right now. They have plenty of VRAM. They've got longevity. By the time you need to replace your AMD 7900 GRE or 7900 XT or 7800 XT or 7600 XT, ray tracing will probably be available for you at a lower end card, so you'll be able to do it. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. I was watching some of that today, and I do feel like it's. I do kind of feel like it's always like a firing squad toward AMD, man. It's always like, oh, you got to have lower prices. You got to do this, or your ray tracing is not as crappy as the ray tracing on this crappy ray tracing card, so we can't. Dude, if you can't use ray tracing on a 4070 or a 4070 Super or a 4070 Ti or whatever, does it really matter if the AMD card can't do it? I don't think so. I mean, if those cards can't do it good, why would it matter if an AMD card can do it? And why would it matter if they can do it just to lift the... Oh, dude, the PC space drives me nuts sometimes. These computer nerds are so freaking emotional when it comes to this stuff. I'm like, no, dude, don't waste your money on Nvidia right now. If you want a good, solid card this generation, I think AMD's got you covered. You got the VRAM, you've got everything you need for a little bit of longevity to let these guys catch up. And that's if you already didn't buy an amazing 6000 series GPU, you're still good. And that's the thing. Like, if you bought 6000 series AMD GPUs, you are still good. If you buy a 7000 series AMD GPU, you are going to be good. If you bought a 30 series Nvidia GPU, like, you're hating life right now. You're probably like, oh man, I gotta upgrade. You know, especially if you bought a 3070, man, or a 30. Oh gosh, dude, 8 gigs of VRAM, and you can't even play You can't even play The Last of Us, bro. You can't even play The Last of Us. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know. I think it's stupid that this card comes out and everybody's like doing this like ray tracing. Blah. Why did they even talk about that? Seriously, I think anybody, dude. Honestly, if that's terrible, man. That should tell you everything you need to know about like their recommendations, dude. Obviously, those guys are. I don't want to call them paid shills, but they are sympathetic to Nvidia, and maybe they just do it out of like just because they don't want to be like maybe they just don't want to be like I don't know, like ridiculed or fingers pointed at them like people come and do to me. I don't think ray tracing is worth it on a 40. I don't think it's worth it. Anything under a 4080. I personally do not think it's worth the hit that you take to performance. I don't. And I don't care if DLSS can make it. I don't like DLSS. And I've said that multiple times. I've stressed that fact. I don't like the way it looks. It looks too uncanny. I don't like it. It kind of ruins the visuals for my video games. I don't like it the way it looks. You know, I mean, like, FSR is acceptable, but I don't even really use FSR. I don't really care to use upscaling that much. I like to be able to just jump in there, native resolution, play around with stuff, you know. I'm perfectly okay with that. As long as I can get over 60 frames a second, I don't even bother with the freaking upscaling. So, if you guys like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.